In the world of economics, we often hear the phrase, buyer beware. It might be said that this phrase should apply to Andrew Bynum, who missed all of last season with the 76ers due to a knee injury. This year, he's headed to Cleveland on a 2-year contract. Andrew Park, our LA expert, is coming in live with us. Andrew, you saw Andrew Bynum play for the Lakers for quite some time. What does this mean for him, and what does this mean for the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Well, for him, for one thing, it's a clean slate. He went to the Philadelphia 76ers in the Dwight Howard trade last offseason, and the Sixers really hoped to build around him because their biggest weakness was, in fact, a dominant post presence, which they really needed. And at the time, I think the Philadelphia Sixers management, the front office, thought that pairing Andrew Bynum with their all-star point guard and Drew Holiday, who, by the way, is no longer there anymore, would be a really deadly combination. However, as everyone knows, this past season has been disappointing to say the least, and Andrew Bynum hasn't played a minute actually in all of this past season. What this means for the Cavs? Well, definitely they're investing in a huge risk in Andrew Bynum. Yes, he was easily the second best center behind Dwight Howard in his last full year in the 2010-2011 regular season. However, he hasn't played for an entire year, so we don't know how much rust that he has and how motivated he is to play.
All right, but Andrew, word is coming out right now that it's a 2-year contract with only $6 million guaranteed. Does this let Cleveland off the hook, knowing that they won't have a Amari Stoudemire kind of situation on their hands in a couple of years?
Well, of course. I said it was a risk, but I think the Cleveland Cavaliers front office did a really good job in making a very calculated risk, in that if it indeed goes and this deal happens to bite them in the butt, they aren't too hurt by it. It's only 2 years, $6 million. The rest of the money being through incentives, which is a very, very low-risk deal. And it works for them because their front court has been really, especially their big men, they've been riddled with injuries the past couple of years. Anderson Varejao can never seem to stay healthy for an entire season. They don't really. Tristan Thompson is a power forward. He's not really a big man. He still has a lot to learn. They just drafted Anthony Bennett, who I have really high hopes for. I think Anthony Bennett is a very solid player and can work out to do really good things with the Cavs. But what they were really lacking was that dominant pivot man, and Andrew Bynum's going to give him just that. He has a wealth of moves. He was mentored by Laker great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for a number of years while on his time with the Los Angeles Lakers. And unlike Dwight Howard, he can hit free throws. So there's that.
Right, and there's obviously the marvelous 30-rebound game he had against the San Antonio Spurs. Now, in his last full season with the Lakers, he averaged pretty much 19 and 12. If he comes near that, if he reaches his potential with the Cleveland Cavaliers, how far can they go in the Eastern Conference?
Well, I think they'll be vying for the 7th or 8th seed. Unlike the West, the East is not very deep. Outside of Miami, Miami Heat, Indiana Pacers, New York Knicks, you're not going to be getting much out of that. I think those are the big three right now. So depending on how well the Cavs do in their division as well as just within their own conference, we'll see how it goes. I really like how that team is shaping up. They just signed Jarrett Jack to a pretty significant deal, and he'll be doing the exact same thing that he did for the Golden State Warriors, which is come off the bench, be that sixth man, be that real veteran presence, and bring a scoring punch to the bench that the Cavs really needed. Kyrie Irving, if he stays healthy, he's an all-star. There's no doubt about it in my mind. And that pairing, it's always, when you're building a team, you always need your big man and your point guard. And after you have those two sorted out, you have everything else comes a little bit more easier. I think another year of Dion Waiters on the team. He was a little rocky. He was starting some games and he was coming off the bench some games, but I think a year under his belt in the NBA will make him a better player. So I think the Cavs are really interesting. I think they can really make that push for the playoffs for the first time since LeBron.
Oh, wow. So overall, even though there is inherent risk, you see this as a generally good move for the Cavaliers?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's 2 years, $6 million. Even for a small market team, that's chump change. I mean, the NBA owners are multi-million-dollar people here, or corporations, or whoever's own. Dan Gilbert, yes, the famous Dan Gilbert. He has a lot of money to throw away, and it's not like he has many max contracts on his team at the moment. So he has some He has some money to spare, and it's not as if there are so many big men on the market right now. I mean, the biggest fish was Dwight Howard, and obviously Cleveland wasn't in those sweepstakes. So to be able to snag Andrew Bynum and for a low risk deal, and if this turns out, this will look like a sage move. And if it doesn't, then it's just unfortunate, and oh well. It's a slap to the wrist to the Cleveland Cavaliers, but I think that they are in a very good situation here with Andrew Bynum and this low risk deal.
All right, so for the first time since LeBron left, the Cleveland Cavaliers might be looking at a playoff spot. Now, it all depends on Andrew Bynum, and after 2 years, he will be 27 and will again be a free agency. We might just see another rehash of the Dwightmare this year. If you liked what you saw today, be sure to click the annotation here to subscribe, click the thumbs up to like it, leave a comment down below, follow us all over the internet. The links are in the description. And until next time, make sure you catch up with the final points.